Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our webcast with Princess Cruises, and our topic is Princess North to Alaska. My name's Brian Murray, the Director of Travel here at AAA, and I'm really happy that you decided to spend a little time with us this evening. You know, travel this past year has been at almost a standstill in most cases, but there is an awful lot in the offing. I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And I have to tell you, the pent-up demand for travel and cruises is just exploding. So we're really excited to share Alaska with you this evening. We've had 2 seasons that Alaska has not happened, but I have to tell you, now's the time to get in for next year, because we'll hear from Debbie that the ships are filling to the appropriate capacity, and now's the time to book. I will let you know you're all in listen-only mode. If you do have any questions, please feel free to type them in the question panel on your screen, and we'll entertain questions at the end of the program. I will also mention that there are listed 5 handouts that are on your screen. They're listed in blue. Debbie's going to talk about a couple of these things, but that's additional information that you can reference later or actually print and review it as well. In addition to the promotions and AAA benefits, I want to offer to everybody on the program this evening an additional $100 savings from AAA on any new 2022 Princess Alaska cruise or cruise tour on new bookings between now and May 6th. So without further ado, I can't wait to hear about Alaska, see all the sights, and hear the wonderful things. I'd like to introduce Debbie Hagee, our Business Development Manager with Princess Cruises. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh, thanks for inviting me, Brian. You know there's nothing that I like more than sharing my favorite destination with everyone. I've been with Princess 24 years this month, and actually have been lucky enough, whether it's business or personal, to have traveled to this amazing destination 9 times. So I'm anxious to share what I think is the most unique destination out there. So tonight I'd like to talk about why Princess to Alaska, because there is some other cruise lines up there. I'd like to show you the geography of this great state. I want to talk about land and sea vacations. And I'd like to show you the Princess Lodges. We're a cruise line, yes, but we also own and operate our 5 Princess Lodges in Alaska. We have been rated #1 in this destination for the last 14 straight years. That was by Travel Weekly for land and sea vacations. We put everything together for you. If you're interested in seeing the interior as well as taking the cruise, we put the whole package together for you. So that would be a 7-night cruise. We own our own rail cars and our own motor coach cars up in Alaska. So when you purchase land and sea, everything is together, fits together for you seamlessly. Now, if you haven't made a decision yet, if you want to do land and sea, I also have cruises that are round trip from Seattle. Those are 7 nights. We have one cruise that's 10 nights round trip San Francisco. But with either one of those, you are not able to do the interior or the land of Alaska, because those are round trip, and those 2, Seattle and San Francisco departures, do not go north enough for you to connect to the land. If you wanted to do land and sea, you would either start or end your journey in Vancouver, start or end in the port of, that is Whittier in the bottom right-hand corner, which would mean that you would be flying into or out of Anchorage. Now, land and sea, what I'm talking about, sometimes you'll hear me refer to it as a cruise tour. What that means, it's sail for 7 days on our Voyage of the Glaciers cruise, travel inland versus the exclusive Princess rail cars, and then stay at the Princess Lodges near the national parks. So you can do that journey. You can start with the cruise, which we call a northbound sailing. So you'd cruise first, which means you would fly from Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, wherever gateway you're closest to. And you would fly into, if you're going to do the cruise first, you would be flying into Vancouver, and then you would be disembarking in Whittier, Alaska, where you'd be picking up our direct to the wilderness rail service on the train. And then we'd be taking you right up to the lodges that same day, where you could have 3 or more nights on the land. It's actually 3 up to 8 nights on the land. If you were going to do southbound first, you would fly from, again, let's say Buffalo. You'd fly from Buffalo to either Fairbanks or Anchorage, depending on where your tour would start. You could start with 3 or more nights, 3 up to 8 nights at the Princess Lodges doing the interior of Alaska. Then you would be taken by our direct to the wilderness rail service right down to board the ship in Whittier. And that's when you would take your 7-night voyage of the Glacier's cruise, and you would be ending that in Vancouver. And this may help a little bit more to see the map in front of you. If we were doing northbound first, we'd be leaving right here from Vancouver, cruising through the Inside Passage, stopping at Ketchikan, Juneau, and Skagway. All of these one-way itineraries go into Glacier Bay National Park. And then with Princess, we always have 2 glacier viewing experiences on these one-way itineraries. So you would have, if you were going northbound, you would then continue on and go into experience College Fjord. If you were doing southbound, you would be viewing Hubbard Glacier. So then you would dock here in Whittier. You'll notice that Whittier is right on that rail. See that line that looks like a zipper? That represents the Alaskan Railroad. So we have the unique positioning to be right across from the rail service. Many of the other cruise lines that service this market are way down here in Seward, Alaska. Well, Seward, to get to the train, takes 4 hours via motor coach. It's only 110 miles, but on Alaskan roads, that does take 4 hours. And there's only 1 train a day, so you've missed the train, because to go from Whittier up to Denali National Park, that represents 8 to 9 hours on the train. So Princess is exclusive that we can get you there in the very same day. So let's take a look at where our lodges are. You'll see the red stars. So on the rail service, we've got right here, right at the gates of Denali National Park, we've got the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. And at the south side of the park, we have the Mount Mckinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. Then if you go down to the Kenai Peninsula, we've got the Kenai Princess Wilderness Lodge. And then over right at the gates of Wrangell St. Elias National Park, we've got the Copper River Princess Wilderness Lodge. So the land is where people get very confused, because the land, there's so many different choices. As I said, you can stay for as little as 3 nights on the land, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nights. But it's always connected to a 7-night cruise. If you were departing from Seattle or San Francisco, that'd be way down here, you would travel up, go through Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway. Some of those itineraries go into Glacier Bay, some go into Hubbard, but that's as far north as you're going to go in a 7 or a 10-night journey, because you'll have to come back with a stop in Victoria, BC, in order to get you back to Seattle or San Francisco in those 7 or 10 days. So that's why you cannot connect with the land with those 2. So let's take a journey. Here we go. This is how close, as we cruise through the Inside Passage, this is how close our ships are through that Inside Passage. That water is as smooth as glass. And cruising through the inside passage, you'll be able to see all kinds of whales. We have an officer on the bridge that's also looking for whales, and they'll be making announcements during the day so that you would be able to see them as well. The ports of call on these itineraries is Juneau, which is the state capital and home to the Mendenhall Glacier. Skagway is where all the Gold Rush era charm began. And Ketchikan is the salmon capital. And here it is, the state capital of Alaska is landlocked. You cannot drive or drive out of the state capital. The only way you can leave the capital is by water or by air, making it very unique and picturesque. And as I mentioned, right outside of the city of Juneau is the Mendenhall Glacier, and there'll be so many different tours for you, to land tours that you can take to go out and see the glacier. Helicoptering, fishing, canoeing, biking, river rafting, all of these very active itineraries can be done, shore excursions can be done when you're in port. This is Skagway, and it provides a fascinating insight into Alaskan gold rush history. This is where all the miners went at one time to purchase their supplies before going searching for their fortune up the Chinook Trail. It's only 800 year-round residents here, and it's charming. It's all connected by boardwalks and recreated saloons and historical sites. And this is the scenery that's right outside of the city of Juneau, Skagway, just minutes outside of Skagway. You've got this breathtaking scenery. And this is Ketchikan, and it embodies the rich native Alaskan heritage. And this is Creek Street, and it is just 5 minutes away from where the Princess ships all dock. And it's important to note that Princess ships do dock, and we have the best parking, so to speak, up there. We've been in Alaska. This should have been next year our 53rd year going to this destination. So none of the Princess ships will drop anchor in the harbor. All of our ships have parking, so our passengers are able to walk on and walk off the ship as many times as they would like during the day. And Glacier Bay National Park. This is the highlight of everyone's trip. We have to have permits to travel into Glacier Bay National Park, and the state of Alaska only allows 2 ships per day into Glacier Bay National Park, and Princess has the permits. And you'll have this experience by yourself, 1 ship at a time, and that's how close our ships do get to the glaciers. At the entrance of Glacier Bay National Park, you may feel the ship slow down ever so slightly, and sailing in tandem with us will be a pilot boat, and down on deck 2 or 3, we will open up the hatch and throw a rope over to the park rangers, and we will actually pull on 2 park rangers that will be with us during the day in Glacier Bay. They'll be up on the pool deck, they'll have microphones, and they'll be commenting what you're seeing as you're seeing it live. This is Hubbard Glacier. It's North America's largest tidewater glacier, and it's a remarkable sight. It measures an astonishing 76 miles long, 1,200 feet deep, and this region is teeming with wildlife. And this is College Fjord. And if you would see this if you were going northbound. And College Fjord offers the world's largest collection of tidewater glaciers, including the famed Hubbard Glacier. It was discovered in 1899 during the Harriman expedition, which professors on this excursion named the glaciers after elite colleges. Princess brings more of Alaska on board. So let's talk about how we do this. If you're taking a fishing charter with us and you catch something, because you will catch something, it'll either be halibut, trout, or salmon, we will bring it back to the ship for you, and prepare it for you in the evening in the dining room for you to have for your dinner. And you'll see the waiters. The waiters will come all out with the big presentation, and it's fun to hear the fish stories and actually to catch something that you caught just that afternoon. Libby Riddles comes on board our ships in Juneau. Libby is the first woman that won the Alaskan Iditarod. And she does a presentation for us every ship, every time up in Juneau. And she's known to have bring a couple of her dogs too, so you can meet the dogs and how they train for the Iditarod. We've got the park rangers in Glacier Bay for the day. We also have two naturalists that reside on board our ships in the summertime, and they will be doing presentations and be available for questions and answers as you're strolling through the inside passage. And then in Skagway, we call this Puppies in the Piazza. And in Skagway, we bring on the pups, and they're all corralled in the main atrium of the ship, and you learn what they eat, how they train to become Alaskan Iditarod dogs. Here is Whittier. Remember when I said we were very close, right across the street to the ship, to the train? If you follow my cursor, you might be able to make out that glass dome train, and it is within just a short walk to the ship. Or if you were doing southbound, which means you'd be doing the land first, you would be pulling right into the ship right across the street. There's only room for one cruise ship in Whittier, only one at a time, so you have this experience all to yourself, all nestled into this beautiful cove. There are glass dome trains. They all have open viewing platforms on them. Everyone is assigned to a seat in the glass dome. There we are leaving the port of Whittier, headed to, in this case, we'd be headed to Denali. This is the upstairs of the train car, very, very comfortable seats. Your luggage hand carry-on would fit underneath your seat with you. The luggage is trucked separately to the lodge, or if you were doing the lodge first, the luggage would be trucked immediately to the ship and then delivery to your stateroom. Downstairs, it's a dining car area. Remember, I've said to go from the ship to Denali, it's 8 to 9 hours. So we do have a dining car area downstairs on the train. Everything is freshly prepared for you here. Now I'm going to show you the lodges. There's going to be a lot of similarities with all of the lodges. All of them are situated by riverbanks that makes it such a pretty view. All have outdoor dining, indoor dining, multiple places for you to choose from. Fire pits, hot tubs, just gorgeous fireplaces with beautiful seating areas inside so you can get comfortable. Outdoor platforms, outdoor viewing. And everyone that stays at our Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge will have a natural history tour that is included, unless you've told us otherwise that you do not wish to have it. But it is included in our packages. If you are at Denali for 2 nights, you can customize this tour to the Tundra Tour. And I'll show you the difference into Denali National Park. Here's a map of the park. Right here is the entrance, right here by the Visitor Center. So anyone taking the natural history tour will end here at mile marker 30. So that is approximately 4 to 4.5 hour tour round trip. You'll be met several times by guides along the way. Okay, so that's the natural history tour. And the Tundra Tour goes deeper into the park. It takes you all the way down to mile 62. Well, what's the advantage? The advantage is by going deeper into the park, you have greater chance of seeing more wildlife. It is limited by the Park Service how many people can get to mile 62. So if you do think that you would be interested in extending it to the longer tour, please make sure to let your AAA travel advisor know that when you're making that booking, because that always sells out for us. And at the south side of the park, here is our Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. And this lodge is so close to the base of the mountain. Here we are 41 miles away from the base of the mountain. And down on the Kenai Peninsula, we've got the Kenai Princess Wilderness Lodge. This is a smaller lodge. These are much smaller. This is only 86 rooms. Again, situated on riverbanks. This one is unique in that it's got screened-in porches, wood-burning fireplace stoves in every room. And that is the view from the back of the Kenai Princess Lodge right there. And here's the Copper River Princess Wilderness Lodge right at the gates of Wrangell St. Helias National Park. And you can see those beautiful mountain range right off into the corner. This national park is home to 9 out of the 16 highest peaks in the United States. Beautiful windows, fireplaces, lots of comfortable seats for you to sit and view, outdoor dining, indoor. Very close to the Kennecott Historical Mines, which is a great day tour. And here is the beautiful view from that Copper River Lodge. People always ask me, when's the best time to go? Well, number one, it is a very short season. It is mid-May to mid-September. And you know, those temperatures up there, yeah, you know, global warming being what it is, I've been up there in May and I was able to wear capris and have flip-flops on around the pool. So, you know, the temperatures are always going to vary. But if you wanted no rainy season, that would be May and June. And then, of course, fall foliage, their leaves turn sooner than ours. So the end of September, the beginning of August and September would be a great time to see the fall colors reflected in the inside passage. And then whale spotting can be done all of these 5 months, with peak being in July. And then the clock right there represents the most daylight hours. So mid-June to the end of July, you're going to have approximately 21 to 22 hours of daylight. And then if you were interested in seeing the northern lights, you would head towards September. And so you would be able to have a chance of seeing the northern lights. Wildlife can be seen all 5 months with heavy wildlife showings in May and June for 2 reasons. Number one, the wildlife's been hibernating and they're very active. And for the second reason, because we haven't had those 20 and 22 hours of daylight. So you can spot them much easier when the foliage is not as thick. Fishing can be done all 5 months, with peak being June and July. Off-peak pricing would be May and September. And of course, families would travel when school is not in session. And that would be June, July, and August based on where you are. Now, that being said, I would like to take a moment to show you the AAA exclusive land and sea packages. They do so much business with Princess and have for decades now that we've given them their own tour. This is AAA Tour 14, and 14 can go north or 14 can go south. It will operate, this one says 2021, but we do have it for 2022. It will operate from May to September. It is 4 nights on the land. So it is 2 nights at Denali, 1 night Mckinley, and 1 night in Anchorage. So that is, and the wonderful benefit about being on a AAA tour is that there are meals built into this package on the land. where many of our other tours do not have the meals on the land included. You can purchase a meal package, but with AAA Tour 14, the majority of the meals are included, 2 dinners and 2 breakfasts. We also have AAA Tour 15. So 15 would run also 15 North or 15 South, and that would run from May to September. And that would take you to Fairbanks. So it'd be Fairbanks, 2 nights at Denali, 2 nights at McKinley. And that would also have the benefit of having the meals on the land portion included in AAA Tour 15. Now you'll note that that is one of the flyers that have been added so that you can be able to print or just take another look at. Of course, these flyers cannot be put into our brochure because they only can be sold by a AAA travel advisor. And you do not have to be a member. We hope you're a member, but you do not have to be a AAA member in order to purchase travel. Princess Plus is our program on board. Princess has a new pricing structure that we started in 2020. And so it includes our all-inclusive beverage package on board our ship. And what is included in our all-included beverage package? That includes bottled water, specialty coffees, sodas, smoothies, and your alcoholic beverages. And it includes up to $12 per drink, which is no problem up on Princess at all. You can easily get the majority of our drinks for under $12 a drink. We have unlimited Wi-Fi, and the cruise gratuities are paid on behalf for you. So the gratuities are included. So the pricing when the AAA advisor quotes you a price, know that it's an all-inclusive price with Princess, with your drinks, Wi-Fi, and gratuities. If you've served in the military, we would like to thank you for your service. And every time you sail with Princess, you will have an onboard spending money to use. So if you've not sailed with us before, you would bring a copy of your DD 214 into your AAA advisor, and they will add it to your guest profile, and then you will never have to show that to us again. It's just a one-time only that we would require that. And that is my last slide. So I can't see if there's any questions, Brian, but I know you're right there to walk me through them.
Great, Debbie. Thank you. What wonderful pictures. You painted a wonderful scene, and I have to tell you, Alaska is fabulous. So there is a couple of questions that came through. You talked about land and cruise, and what is the what's the better way to go? Do you take the cruise first and then the land, or the land first and then the cruise? I kind of think I know your answer, but go for it then.
The one that sells the fastest for us each and every year is to get the long flight out of the way, which would mean traveling. Let's use Buffalo, for example. So you'd go Buffalo to Fairbanks or Buffalo to Anchorage, and you'd get that long flight out of the way. And then you would do the land and then meet up with the ship. That sells the fastest for us each year. The other way would mean going Buffalo to Vancouver, and then coming home from either Anchorage or Fairbanks. And I prefer to go cruise first, and I'll tell you why. As I'm cruising along, usually before I leave on vacation, I've got so much to do and so many things around the house and for work to get done that it's a last minute run. When I'm on the ship, I relax immediately because I'm not having to change from one hotel property to another hotel. So for me, it's being on that ship, traveling northbound, relaxing for 7 days. And then as I keep going north, the scenery keeps getting increasingly more dramatic. And hopefully I finish this journey being able to look at that beautiful mountain. But that's me. Then I have a longer flight home. It is less money to do it cruise first than land first. It is less. It is slightly, when I say less, it could be $200 to $300 less per person. So if that makes a difference, the AAA advisors know this, and they can, if there's one tour, let's say you were interested in tour 14, they can price it out for you both ways, both doing the land first and then, or doing the cruise first, so you can compare. And one thing I have to also add is that Princess has a great program with our air program that we can include in your pricing. We call it Princess Easy Air, just like Easy Pass, so it's easy to remember. The Easy Air program the AAA advisors can go in at 330 days from the date of your return, and they can actually go in and look at our great negotiated air rates that are non-public, and they would be able to hold the air for you in your booking, and you would not pay for that air until final payment. That's unheard of in the travel industry, that you are holding air and not paying for it till 75 days in advance. So we've got a unique program, and then that allows the AAA agent to kind of see from periodically if there's a better price, if they can beat it, then they just cancel one price and book it in the other. You've got that flexibility with our air program. So that's another benefit too, either way, north or south.
That's great, and I will vouch for the Easy Air program. It is a great offering that you have, locking in that low price early on and still leaving some flexibility, and the flights are great. So thank you for mentioning that. Another question, when we're looking at the pricing, what is not included? Excursions, some meals. I think that depending on the trip per se, Deb, as far as meals, when we look at 14 and 15, that is set, all the meals are pretty much included in that. But when you do a land-based trip with a cruise, meals are not included on the land portion, but of course, all the food is included on the cruise.
Right, and that's what one of the advantages of booking AAA Tour 14 or AAA 15, because you do have the majority of your meals nicely built in to the land package. So what would not be included, of course, on the ship, any of your gift shop purchases, if you went to the casino, dry cleaning, and then your shore excursions you would primarily pay for in advance, because the AAA agents would be reserving them for you way in advance when they become open. And so you'd be paying for those. You know, now that the drink package is included and the Wi-Fi is included and the cruise gratuities is included, it's really more your discretionary spending on board, and any of your optional excursions you would take when you went into the ports of call.
Yep, that's great. And I think that, you know, it's really important reserving those excursions in advance, because you don't want to be disappointed and left out. And also, you know, the last time I cruised with Princess, and this was in a Canada, New England itinerary, you know, I was able to order water ahead of time for my room, bottled water, and it's at a significant savings as well. So there's many opportunities to, you know, have savings opportunities, but with your Princess Plus right now, it's just a phenomenal deal. So it's really.
And now that bottled water is included in the drink package.
Don't need that anymore. Absolutely.
Nope.
Absolutely. So another question came in. How is travel handled into Canada right now? And this obviously Canada, we can't go into Canada, and that's the reason for the pause of the cruises for this year. So all of these itineraries you're talking about are for 2022.
That is correct. Canada has banned travel across the borders until February 1st of 2022. And so this would be for we're talking about the 22 season right now. So
And
They're
that won't, well, never say never, but even if it changes, to get those boats up in position, it's just not going to happen this summer. So best
no,
plan for next summer for sure. So
that is correct. Yep, that's correct, Brian. Yep.
so this is great. That's all the questions that came in. I have to thank everyone for being with us this evening. If you do have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to one of our AAA travel advisors. They have all been up to Alaska many times and traveled with Princess, and we have some great promotions and member benefits. So please give us a call. Remember the $100 savings as well on new bookings through May 6th. So again, Debbie, thank you for a great presentation, and thank all of you for participating, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks again.